I'm thinking I'm trying to do a little interview series, man. I found this sewer in LA. You could go down there. I'm gonna take producers and just bring them down the sewer, just interview them about some random bullshit. Not some Eric Andre shit, but I just got them in the sewer. Like, what 808s you fuck with, you know?
Rio!
You gotta wear some boots though. It's probably nasty down there.
You are the fucking goat, bro.
How does that make me the goat? I'm bringing producers down the sewer, bro.
No, just the image I see in my head.
You can imagine though, right?
I'm seeing it. Rio's just like, how did you tune that 808 on?
Some shit's just floating by in this.
How did you? That drum pattern was pretty nice. Yo, it's your boy Hakeem, and you are watching Our Generation Music. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And today, man, I got the man, the myth, the legend, Rio with me, man. What's up, baby?
That's a crazy intro, man. I feel really important right now.
You are. It's very suiting for you because Rio, you really are the man, the myth, the legend. Like, I think recently I just seen a video I think you reposted. Were you in the studio with DY?
Yeah.
And he was like Rio and just like blown away.
I was making beats on my phone.
Exactly. You're making beats on your phone, and it's just like I feel like when people meet Rio, there's always this like blown away story, or someone's like, oh yeah, that nigga's on a different level. Like, oh yeah, Rio made 100 beats today, or like Rio's 24-hour streaming. Like there's always something like just a little bit like, oh yeah, Rio's on a different type of time. I really want to know what, if you can describe it as best as you can, like what really makes Rio up.
I feel like early on when I was starting as a producer, I realized that like you can tell when someone is being disingenuous about like their persona and the way they are. Like a lot of people, artists and producers, they have them.
One second. Sorry, I was holding that, but continue. I'm so sorry. Sam, cut that.
No, please.
Keep it in? I'm sorry.
Please. All right, anyways, before you sneeze, I feel like a lot of artists and producers, they have the character version of them that everyone sees, and then they get home and they're like a different way.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be playing a character. That sounds kind of tiring. So I just always tried to just go with my first instinct. I'll post a bunch of random shit that I think is cool.
Yeah.
And just go do whatever I want. And that way, in my head, I was like, well, if I get successful and lit off of this, I'll just get to like be me for a living.
The rest of your life.
Yeah.
Which is like the best. And I love meeting people that are genuinely themselves and, constantly just in their own world, which I feel like Rio has his own world where it's just like, not saying it's super rare that someone will 24-hour stream. We have streamers that do it, but it is rare for a producer to be like, all right, I'm gonna stream for 3 days, or like I'm gonna make 100 beats, or like, another thing that was like super dope that I noticed about Rio is your love for gear, your love for equipment.
Yeah, I got really into that in the last like year, because I was gonna get a car. And then I was like, I could spend all of this money on a bunch of cool gear instead. So then I didn't get a car, and I have like 50 guitar pedals and like 6 synths, and I just love getting stuff, because even if it's some like really weird, obscure piece of gear, like the worst case scenario is that I find out that it isn't cool, and then I can just sell it to someone else. So like at my house, like constantly I'm just getting packages that are just like random music things I ordered like 3 months ago off like eBay or something, and then it's like a surprise, Some days I wake up and I'm just like, oh,
I forgot I ordered this.
Yeah,
but I really didn't.
Yeah, like a flute just got here or something,
wow.
Just some random shit.
What was like the last piece of equipment or gear that you ordered that was like, whoa, I just made some crazy shit? Or even even a song came out from that? Or take it a little further?
I feel like I remember, actually, the first placement I ever had, Brotherly Love by Gotit and Keed. I remember I played the tin whistle on that. And it was just my mom had a tin whistle. Because I made it at my crib when I was like 16. But recently, I didn't get a song off of it, but I ordered like a custom synth someone made where they took a Ouija board and then they made it so that when you touch all the letters on the Ouija board, it makes different sounds.
Wow.
So that's pretty interesting.
Fucking Ouija board?
Yeah. Like, you know how they got all the letters on it?
Yeah, that's some shit.
Like, you just touch the letters and it, like, yeah, it's like a keyboard.
Only Rio would make a beat off some shit like that.
You just go on Etsy or eBay, you just search up, like, just DIY synths or, like, one-of-one synths, and there's some random person out there, you know, just making something.
That's some sauce for y'all, Rio just spilled on y'all. You just said something interesting, like, with the Brotherly Love song that was by Keed and Lil Gotit.
Yeah.
You made it off the flute from your mom and everything.
Yeah, I just voice memoed it. Yeah.
You voice memoed it. How much musically inclined is Rio? Like, did you grow up playing instruments? Like, was that an environment at home for you or anything?
A little bit, yeah. I remember my parents, they had me really young. So, like, when they first met, one of my moms is from rural Northern California and the other one is from Chicago. So they would like make each other like little mixtapes on cassettes of songs they made for each other.
Oh wow.
So both of them like played instruments. So I was around them like playing guitar and stuff when I was younger, and then I took piano lessons too when I was like 10. So that helped, but I don't know, I feel like also because I was very sheltered, like I wasn't exposed to a lot of popular music until I was like 13 and 14.
Yeah. So
I feel like that kind of helped the way that I think about music, because I wasn't as influenced by just like
you were more taught.
Yeah.
And then you were older, and then now you can listen to music as like pleasure in a sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, once you become a producer, like I hear songs and I just hear like the 808 and the hi-hat and the instruments in it, like I hear it dissected. Wow. Like you can't hear music just as like one piece. Unless it's some shit where like you really couldn't have made it. Like when I listen to Yachty's new album, I can hear it as one piece of music. But like if I listen to like a random rap song that came out, a lot of the time I just hear the individual like, oh, that's how they did the hi-hat, that's how they did this.
Like you're hearing it and then you're seeing the patterns.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you're someone that like I've seen you make some of the craziest patterns. Like I remember like my first introduction to Rio was just seeing videos of you like you writing out letters.
Yeah, in the hi-hats.
In the hi-hats, and then you're playing it, niggas is like, and it still sounded good.
Somehow, yeah.
Bro. Well, it didn't sound like the greatest thing, but
it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, I feel like.
But I feel like around that time though too, I feel like coming from seeing Rio then to Rio now, I feel like even you kind of spoke about it is, doing a lot in a beat. Getting to that point of simplicity that you've learned. Talk a little bit about the importance of being simple in a beat and making a beat.
I feel like at first when you start out as a producer, you're just learning, and I feel like a lot of people also want to like make things that impress other producers. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, like after the Drake song I had came out, like that beat, I made it in like 4 minutes, and it had like 5 drum sounds in it, and it just made me realize like all my biggest songs are all stuff where it's very simple, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, oh, just like clicking some shit, and like it's so easy as a producer to just keep adding things because you're like, oh, it could have another sound. I want to add this other cool part, but like really we're only half of the equation. Like you got to leave room to let the artist do their thing. And yeah, really only in the last, I'd say like 6 months, I got a lot better at making things that are simple.
Simple, yeah.
It was part of the process. Like I feel like I had to make all those super complicated ones to improve. Then you learn stuff from the complicated ones, and then you can apply it to like the simple ones that you make.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it was all a part of the process and journey for you to even get to this point and really be great. And you spoke about Yachty, BackoutsideBoyz, the Drake song. What was that moment like? Getting the news like, yo, I got a Drake placement.
I remember Yachty called me, and there was a bunch of shit going on at that time, so I wasn't even really working on music like that week. But it definitely, like most placements I have happen, I'll be excited about it, but It's nothing like when I first started out, where I remember I got my first snippet with, it was this guy, Cap G. And I got my first snippet ever, and I was like running around my room and jumping up and down. So when the Drake one happened, I was really excited. It felt like that again, but I feel like that now it's like I got that song, so I don't know what could happen now that would, like, it would have to be something that's like better than that for me to freak out like that again.
Maybe it's like 6 Drake placements
at once. Yeah, I don't know.
I did Drake's whole album,
but it's not bad to, like, even though I'm not usually super excited about songs, it's not bad. I feel like I make music more for like the process and for creating it rather than like the outcome.
Yeah.
Like, I have more fun when I'm making something than when it comes out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at that point, it's for other people to enjoy. I already enjoyed making it.
I feel that. And, you know, back to Yachty, right? You linked with Yachty. You even did a vlog and, like, content with him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me teach Yachty how to make beats. And, you know, Yachty's a rapper. Everyone knows him as a rapper. But Yachty was in this producing bag on this, you know, this new Drake shit.
Yeah.
And I think even on his new project himself, I think he
Yeah.
made some of the beats on there, too.
He did, yeah.
Shout out Yachty. And,
Right.
you know, I really just want to know, how did you guys link and, you know, get close and build this relationship? Because I think you just came back from Atlanta working with him.
Yeah, I just did a couple days ago, yeah. Originally, I remember it was at the Studio Here record plant. Taz and Yachty, I don't know how they knew each other, but Yachty wanted to get in the studio with Taz. And we were doing a bunch of sessions for a couple weeks with Yachty, and from the first session, like, we just got along really well. So then from there, we just like worked a lot more. I feel like a lot of producers, they just, I don't know, even though sometimes I can be a little bit of like a producer robot, or I'm just making a million things, like, once you're in the room with someone, it's so important to like be a normal person. And like so many of the artists that I've met, like, it's not even about like getting a million songs done. Like, me and Yachty are just like cool. Like, we're just pretty close, so it's like it doesn't matter if we go to the studio and don't make anything. Like, it's just nice, like, kicking it with the artists that you know.
Yeah. So it's more like it's not really a pressure to emphasize on getting something done. It was just kind of like just vibing, chilling.
Yeah.
If something's gonna happen, it'll happen. You know, it's gonna happen. Yes, I'm prepared. I have beats on my laptop if it's, you know, that moment arises, but it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, here, come listen to this, come da da da.
Yeah.
You're not really forcing things. You're just kicking it with your homie.
Like, I mean, when we made BackoutsideBoyz, like, that was I went to Atlanta for 2 weeks, and that was the only song that we got done.
Wow.
We did one. We hung out a bunch of times, but that was just like the only one we did. So.
And look, and you know, that was what, one of 100 beats, right?
Yeah, that day I made 70, which is still, it's too many beats, but
It's not real, man.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, now I kind of am in a space where I'm like, I already have all the beats, trying to go out and do everything else, do content. And,
Yeah.
But at that time, I was still just so locked in. I just wanted to have everything prepared, because I like being prepared, you know. So like, Yachty was like, bring all the vibes, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna bring all the vibes. I'm gonna cook till the session, but I just cooked from like 9 a.m. till like we got in at like 1 a.m. that night.
That's how you get a big Drake placement, man. You got to be prepared, man. I feel like, you know, ever since I've known and met you, it's always been about like Rio's just working. Like, Rio's always doing some crazy shit or working. So it's like, that's why I started this off saying the man, the myth, the legend, because I feel like you're gonna go extremely far in this. You know.
Yeah, I hope. I definitely have a vision for what I want to do, but I feel like even though I do want to be a really big producer, like at some point, like I work so hard all the time and I'm out super late. Like at some point I don't need to have like 10, 20 M's or some shit. Like at some point I'm just going to be content with things and just go off and make like how Yachty just did this album where he just said fuck it and just
made. It's a passion project.
Yeah, like at some point I'm going to want to do that because like it is fun working on songs that do well and everything, but I feel like people can get caught up in like, you get addicted to the success and more, you know, and like at a certain point, I think it stops people from being happy, and it's more like they just have to do it so they don't feel like sad.
Sad, yeah.
You know, because you have like this standard of like I did this last year, I need to do even better next year and next year, and like.
Which is not always the reality, not always the truth.
Yeah.
Nothing's really like that. Like you're
It's
gonna
not
have
bad.
slow years, you're gonna have slow months.
It's not bad to think like that, but I just don't want to do that forever.
Yeah.
Because I see people who are like grinding still, trying to make more money when they're like 70, and it's like, bro, like at this point you could just chill out and like
I feel like if
enjoy life.
I feel like for me personally, if I'm up a certain amount of millions in my brain, there's nothing really else that I need. I'm probably just gonna be chilling. Like, to me, that's how I view it. I have a number in my head, and if I hit that number,
I mean, you'll still make money off stuff, but you're not gonna be
actively,
trying.
I'm not gonna be trying to make money. I'm
Yeah.
like, if I'm passively, if it works, it works. But I got I got so and so amount of bread. Like, bro, I'm fucking living in the woods, traveling the world.
Exactly.
You know, trying different drugs and girls. You ain't get that. If you ain't get that fucking reference right there, we can't be friends. That's Wiz Khalifa right there. But anyway, back to Rio. I think one of the things that people would really love to know and probably are very curious about is how you met Taz Taylor getting to internet money. Because you're from Portland, you know. Obviously, though, internet money is the internet. Literally, you know what I mean? Like, all you guys, I'm sure, all met on the internet from, like, seeing each other's beats or type beats or all things like that. But what is Rio's story and his involvement?
I remember around the time that I had my first song come out, Brotherly Love, I had a couple other songs and snippets. Like I did Why You Look Mad by Tecca. I did Live This While by Lil Mosey. And I had like a Roddy Ricch snippet. And I was just like putting myself out there on Instagram and getting some songs. And Taz just hit me up and he was like, it's time. And then I just went to LA like 2 days after that. Because I mean, I feel like the way that I brand myself and just the way that I am, like it fits well with internet money because it's not like some exclusive behind the scenes shit. It's like we really try to help other producers and put ourselves out there and show the process. Yeah. And like I really like doing that. So. And
that's another thing too, right? With you is that Rio, like as much as you're making beats, you're content creating. You're on TikTok, you're vlogging, which is like 2 other whole jobs. How do you go about like balancing all of that, you know?
I feel like there's a lot of ways where you can like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Like for instance, when I stream on Twitch, I always have like video ideas going into the Twitch stream. Yeah. So I'll go on Twitch, I'll stream, but in a 5-hour stream, I'm gonna get 4 YouTube videos done for one of my channels, you know? Yeah. Like I might do a tier list of some like producer thing or, you know, like just there's ways to get 2 things done at once. Like I'll go work with Yachty, but I'm also, since he's down with it, I'm also getting like footage for my YouTube. Or I might be working on something where I need to work on it for industry stuff, but I can make a YouTube video out of it, you know? Like I always find a way to like tie those things in with each other. Yeah. So even though I am doing YouTube and that is different, like I try to like a lot of the YouTube stuff I do is just, here's what my life is like being a producer. It's more of like remembering to like turn the camera on. Yeah. But there's definitely a lot of people who don't, like 90% of the sessions I'm in, I just don't feel like it's the right setting to like film it. Because I never want to be that guy who's just in the studio just like, it's Hakeem, you know, like that. Like when some random person is just like filming, bro, like it's so annoying. Definitely. So I always like, there's a lot of artists who I haven't even done videos with because even though we're cool, it's just not the right vibe. Or your relationship haven't even got to that point. Yeah, exactly. Which is a good thing to understand and just how to build a relationship with artists. And, you know, that's something that, you know, a lot of the newer up-and-coming producers can understand. Like, I feel like you'll know when the right time is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be a vibe or a verbal thing, you know? But another dope thing about Rio is, like, content-wise and just being limitless. You put music out. Rio's making music. Yeah. Talk to us about like what made you get to the point where he's like, I want to make music now. You know? I feel like sometimes there'd be like ideas or beats or, you know, things that I would make where I'd be like, I hear this as a song, but I don't hear like a specific artist on it. I don't know that anyone would use it. And it kind of started as me I would kind of sample my own voice sometimes where, you know, I might make a melody and I might put my voice into it and put auto-tune on it and stuff. And then from there, I don't know, making songs, it feels like therapeutic to me because for once I'm not making music for someone else or for it to become popular or for some other goal, you know, like that's why I have like 200 songs I've made, but I've only put out like a couple because really it's just kind of for me. Like I'll probably put out more at some point, but really like the point of me making songs is just like getting to make things that are truly just for me and not about how well it will do. Okay. I've been making a lot of indie stuff lately though. It's really fun.
It's fire.
Like all the guitar pedals and stuff.
Yeah, my boy going in there, Rio in his room like.
Facts. Yeah, exactly.
Another thing too, I just want to talk to you a little bit more about just like the technical side of making a beat. And you know, I know earlier we spoke about just like, you know, simplifying everything, but I really want to know and just like VST and VST wise, right? Like, I know, you got a lot of live guitars and stuff like that, but like, what are like go-to VSTs you feel like, you know, Rio's constantly going to?
I don't want to just give answers that like everyone already knows about.
Yeah.
So I'd say this company UVI makes this plugin called Falcon, and they have a lot of cool banks in there. I like Wave Station. I like all the UHE plugins like Diva and Repro and all of them. There are a lot of cool one-shot kits out there, so you don't even really need VSTs, but I don't know. I feel like it's more about who's using them. Like you could really use stock plugins, and if you got a weird-ass brain and you come up with cool ideas, like you could still make something cool.
So it's not about the VST, it's about the person making.
Yeah, but it still helps.
It still
like I like hoarding all the sounds, dude. My computer has like 12 terabytes on it, and like 7 of them are just used up on sounds.
Wow. You built that computer, huh?
Nah, I got my friend, he knows how to like install extra hard drives in there and stuff.
Well, yeah, like it's built.
Yeah, but I'm not in there building it myself with soldering iron, just like, what is a soldering iron actually? I think that's the thing they used to like weld and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They got like the shield on. They got the shield on.
Yeah, the soldering board.
Anyways, go ahead.
Real, man, the legend.
I'm getting into soldering.
Like, taking me back to high school type shit. Yeah. I want to know, you know, with drum kits being such a big part of, you know, the producer's business and, you know, even just besides the money, just cooking up. Yeah. I want to know in Rio's point of view, like what makes a good drum kit?
I feel like if it's a free one, then I just want to have sounds that are useful and anyone could use. But if you're charging for a drum kit, I feel like you got to put something in there where you really made the sounds unique. And whether you're recording things live with a microphone or you're taking sounds that people already use and affecting them, like, I don't know, there's just so many kits out there, and like people always go back to the same sounds anyways. I put out a free kit recently that just has like all the drums I feel like everyone should have, because there are people out here charging for kits where it really just has a sound that like you could go on Reddit or you could go into any kit and it'll have, you know. So I feel like if someone's giving me a kit, I want it to have stuff that I've like never heard before. Yeah.
Have you spent any time sound designing?
Yeah, but in terms of like, I enjoy sound designing in the way that I'll take all my guitar pedals and then I'll run a sound through all the guitar pedals and like fuck it up pedal and make it sound cool. But in terms of like in synths, like I have a lot of friends like Synthetic, who he's really good at going in Serum and like turning all the knobs and make it sound crazy. But I don't know, if I'm using VSTs, I'm just gonna find a cool preset and not overthink it. But if I have like a physical synth in front of me, I'll turn some knobs, I'll do some sound design.
Fire. You said just presets earlier, which has me a little bit curious about how Rio goes about starting or making a beat. Like, what does Rio start with?
I feel like I like finding a sound that, because I'll be scrolling through a lot of sounds, whether it's on a synth or in a VST, and each sound that I hear, I can kind of hear an idea in my head of like, oh, this would probably turn into a beat like this. And I'm just scrolling through trying to find a sound where the idea in my head is like a really cool one.
Yeah.
I don't really like to start with chords though, usually. Usually I start with like a counter melody or an ARP or some weird background sound, and then build it out from there. Because if you start with some weird lead, like you could take one lead pattern and put a million different 808 patterns on it and it would still sound good. Whereas if you start with like a chord progression, like you couldn't put any 808s on there. Then the 808s have to like go along with the chords that you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
You've made some beats though.
Hell yeah. I'm about to start cooking back up, honestly. I haven't made a beat in like 6 months. But I made a beat like 2 weeks ago and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna start making beats.
I mean, if you're going on Twitch, your competition is like XQC and people like that, man. I feel like, I mean, with some help from some of your producer friends, you know, you might.
Hey, Rio's already volunteering to
Yeah,
get
might
me
be
solid,
going crazy.
man. I'm definitely. I feel like for me personally, when making beats was kind of like more of like a thing where it's like I had a few placements and then I was just like, do I like want to sit here and like try to chase placements all the time? And I'm just like, nah. But now I figured how to use my skill in making music and my love for music. So that's what happened like 2 weeks ago, where it's like, okay, I have an understanding what to do with this now. Which I'm just honestly and truly, I'm just gonna fucking make little EPs with little artists that I feel like are dope. I'm just gonna put it out. I'm just gonna put that shit out. If I see a nigga fucking, you know, doing his thing, blowing up or coming up, like, yo, come hop on this shit, I'm putting it out. I'm not even overthinking. I'm just gonna make EPs for my shit and just keep putting it out. You know what I mean? Just like mixtape type shit. You know, my own shit, just the Keem tapes. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. If a nigga want it, which usually happens, because the homies will like send me beats. Like, they'll see me do some shit, be like, why you ain't send me no beats? Like, I'm like, bro, I'm not really trying to like actively like really be a producer. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you got a whole other thing that you gotta do.
Yeah, I have a whole other thing now going on.
Well, with you getting into some music stuff, I'm thinking I'm trying to do a little interview series, man. I found this sewer in LA. You could go down there. I'm gonna take producers and just bring them down the sewer, just interview them about some random bullshit. Not some Eric Andre shit, but I just got them in the sewer, like what 808s you fuck with, you know?
Rio!
You gotta wear some boots though. It's probably nasty down there.
You are the fucking goat, bro.
How does that make me the goat? I'm bringing producers down in the sewer, bro.
No, just the image I see in my head.
You can imagine though, right?
I'm seeing it. Rio's just like, how did you tune that 808 on?
Some shit's just floating by in this.
How did you? That drum pattern was pretty nice, and you just see a little fucking NYC rat just run across.
Not little, bro. They get big.
They are big.
You see one, you might think it's like maybe like a small person.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for that. I think that was the excitement for me, because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna make projects. I'm just gonna like put this shit out. I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm not chasing any place. I'm just gonna like. I love music. I love to make music, and I think chasing placements or like trying to get a placement kind of was like a blockage of me actually having fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just like, I just want to make music, so I'm just gonna fucking put shit out. But back to Rio, man. Rio, you've produced.
I got us off track.
Yeah, no, you're good. You've produced for like so many different people, bro. Like from Fredo Bang, Youngboy, Yeat, Yachty, etc. Like mad people. Like LAROI, like list goes on. And but it's all different. It's all these artists have like completely different sounds. Yeah. How do you go about like, you know, making stuff for all these different artists while still keeping the Rio DNA in there?
I feel like what I used to do is I was like, I make so many beats that shit, one of them is gonna work. But now I try to, when I go to work with someone, I try to think of it as like their music and their projects are like their whole world that they've built. And I've built my world over here, but I'm going on a little journey over to their world. So I'm gonna make stuff that I feel like fits in with, you know, their other music, while still having it be unique to like if I make something, either way, it's gonna like whatever I'm working on. I feel like there's still gonna be some of the taste in music that I have.
Yeah.
You know, like I could go work on some pop song or work on some underground shit or some mainstream shit, and either way, like I feel like people can usually tell.
Oh yeah, that's a real lead.
Yeah, but then sometimes like there are songs where I feel like people can't tell, and that I have to let go of that. Like sometimes there will be songs where my contribution is like my job was just to give them the canvas, and then they did all of the painting. You know, I feel like the Drake shit, like I do like that song, but I feel like my contribution to it, like my boy Dez did the melody, but I just did drums, man. Like it's cool, but I want to get a big song where I did like everything on it, where I played some instrument on it, you know?
And that brings me to this, which I wanted to really ask, and I was really, really curious about is, you know, the overall and probably the best and healthiest way, Rio, like, you know, in your eyes, and how you would go about collaborating with another producer, because, you know, we're at this time in producing where there's like 6-7 niggas on a song. There could be even 5 niggas on a loop. You know what I mean? But, you know, back in the day, for sure, there was mad niggas, there was session players and all these different things, but it's more like out there now, like, yo, there was actually like 8 niggas on this. I
feel like I have trouble keeping up with everything online, especially like in the last, I'd say 6 months. I just haven't, even though I do content, I'm not online that much. So really, that's like working with people in person. Like you can make really valuable connections online and sending stuff out, but at the end of the day, once you reach a certain point, like me and all the people I like working with, we're all so busy. Like I just live so in the moment that I really just enjoy making stuff in person. And if 10 people end up on the beat because they all added something cool, like I don't really care. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't, like if people are sending me loops or something, like it has to be so crazy for me to use it. Like if some random person sends me loops, like I don't know, that it's so oversaturated now that like if I'm gonna use loops, I'm gonna use loops from my friends probably. Yeah. Unless that shit is so crazy that I'm like, damn, I gotta use this. I already hear like the whole beat on it. Well, so, you know, with all that being said, what do you like studio wise? Like, okay, someone's cooking up. Yeah. Just paint a picture like, okay, someone's cooking up. Yeah, imagine it. Someone's cooking up in front of you, and you know they're in a groove. When do you come in? Do you ask them like, yo, let me add something, or you wait for them to be like, yo, you want to add something? I feel like it depends. It's like just like how you're saying with like artists, and when you want to vlog some shit, how you can just kind of tell. Like, with my friends, we all just kind of know that like you're not gonna ask to add to a beat when it's already completely done. You know, because then you're just on the song for no reason. You know. Yeah. But yeah, you really, if you're just working with your friends, it's really easy. And even if you're working with other people, like worst thing they can do is be like, no, you can't add to this. And then it's like, all right. Like, all right. All right, fuck, nigga. I don't know. Are there people out there who are just like, hell, bro. Are there, turn that 808 up. Hakeem, bro, are there people out there who are just like, I don't know if I should ask them that to be on the beat, man. You know, like, is that what's happening? No, I feel like if you're in the studio, you just gotta be comfortable and just. Yeah, because I feel like those first, and it's more just a question for like those people out there, those newer producers and people that have never been in a session before. In that moment, like you know, you might just be in the studio and do you wait? Do you come in? You know, are you, because you know you could be sitting there and you can have this idea like you be like, lay on me. You know, I feel like you just gotta be respectful. Like I have sessions where there's a lot of producers there. When I was in Atlanta, I was in a session with like TM88 and Southside and Hell people. But there's so many producers there. Like I was there for a couple hours and I didn't add to any beats because I was just chilling. You know, like you just got to be cool. Like if you don't know people that well, don't just be a robot. Don't just be like, all right, next beat. Let me add to this. You know, like just kick it and be cool. And people are gonna be like, do you want to add to this? And when you ask, they're gonna be like, yeah, sure, you can add to this. Just don't be like a bot where you're just like not able to just kick it in a room and just be cool with people. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of producers, they're just so online all the time that like when it comes to being in person, they might be around someone who they look up to and they just like freeze up. Yeah. So I get that. Like when I met Nick and Taz for the first time, in my head I was like, damn, that's like Nick and Taz. Mm-hmm. But if you want to do this shit, you gotta like
now
know.
It's crazy because it's like you're in that situation now where it's like people.
Now there are people, dude. It's crazy. There are people who meet me and they're like, bro, that's Rio. Like that. It's crazy that it's like that.
It's crazy how life works, right?
I had to. It's so hard to get used to that because it's like, when I was. Only recently I got used to it because we were in Amsterdam and we went to the Tecca show. Mm-hmm. And me and Rich Amiri were there too, and like we were just in the crowd and hella fans just kept coming up to us. Yeah. And that helped because I was like, damn, bro, even across the world there's still like people who know. I had to accept it.
Honestly too, it's probably even, I would say, more stronger across the country and across the world. Like I feel like if you're that much lit here, I think you're even more lit. You know what I mean, in another country, because like regardless too, like majority of rappers, like when their career is, you know, at its tail end, they make most of their money overseas. Mm-hmm. You know, they're still lit over there. They're still famous. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy the amount of DMs like I personally have gotten into with just like people from random countries. I'm like, damn, that is insane. But you spoke about Rich Amiri, you know, when you guys were overseas and everything, and you know, you're playing a big part on this project with his new project, Evolution. Yeah. You know, what's that been like? And now, you know, really putting a hand on like a project where everyone knows like, yo, Rio is really in charge of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Putting this together.
It's exciting because I feel like I haven't really, like I've worked with a lot of people, but I'm not really known for just working with one person. I really believe in Amiri. Like I did 7 out of the 13 songs on there, mm-hmm. and it's just really dope. Like being an artist's main producer. Yeah. You know, like really walking in on stuff. Like I really believe that he could be really big, and it's also just, I don't know. It's nice having someone where you can just every time they're walking in at the studio, I know I can send shit to him, or mm-hmm. I'll be there in person, and like. You know, those one-off sessions, like, it gets kind of boring. Like, it's nice with the artist how you could develop chemistry and, like, improve together. Mm-hmm. You know, like, as his sound evolves, like, part of that is my sound evolving, too. You know, because, like, this project we're dropping, but after that, we're going to have to do something else that's still his shit, but, like, an evolution of mm-hmm. his sound, you know? So that's part of that is on me about, you know, like, making beats that are crazier and better for him. So it's... I don't know. I love being a big part of something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be dope. I'm excited for it. Yeah. I'm excited for Rich Amiri's project. Shout out Rich Amiri. Shout out John. Thanks. Shout out the whole Internet Money Clique. Well, we usually do this to close it out, Rio. What is your message for our generation?
I feel like you just got to be yourself. And it's easy to look at what other people are doing and be jealous. But when you look at other people, you only really see the good parts. Mm-hmm. And when you look at your own stuff and you're stressing about it and you're like, I'm not on shit, like you're only looking at the bad parts. So really in reality, everyone has some shit going on and everyone is also probably doing some cool stuff. So just don't be too hard on yourself, you know?
Man, my boy, appreciate you.
Of course.
Love.